Since last season, there has been a lot of time for metas to come and go, and new ones to establish themselves. So today we'll be taking a look at the current top 10 ultimates in Season 1. Number 10. Groot. This ult excels when enemies are grouped up. It might be a little unexpected at number 10 since I feel like it's kind of slept on, but this ult is really strong. It's very likely to get many kills at once since it synergizes so good with his kit, placing a wall behind them and just letting it rip through enemies. On top of that, it also leaves them very vulnerable to attacks from your team. I was kind of debating whether to pick Doctor Strange or Groot at number 10, but for me, Groot takes a slight edge over Doctor Strange. Number 9. Storm. Her ult is very versatile and powerful. It has strong damage and very high mobility. It's very good for just closing out certain fights, capturing the zone, and securing a checkpoint while pushing the convoy. It's not the best of all time, but in my opinion it's very well deserving of a spot in the top 10, with Storm also being a very strong pick right now. Number 8. Psylocke. This ult doesn't have any real counters, except for kind of running out of its range and giving up space for the enemy to take, which in itself already is a lot of value. And even running away from it can be kind of tricky sometimes with her high mobility that she has in the ult. She can literally chase you down. On top of that, it's just huge damage, continuously ripping through your team. Also, ults that generally force the enemy to give up space will be a repeating pattern and also a big deal in terms of what really makes something qualify as a top 10 ult. Number 7. Moon Knight. We all know what it's like to hear the moon and immediately fear floods our bodies. And for some reason, even though it was already strong last season, they decided to make it even stronger in this one. If placed well, this ult can be one of the strongest in the game, getting huge amounts of kills at its highest potential. Again, it's an ult that forces the enemy to move if they don't want to die, which basically makes it the perfect ult to contest a point and shift the momentum in fights entirely. Number 6. Winter Soldier. Do I really have to say more than again? And you might be wondering why I'm putting Bucky over Moon Knight, but in my opinion his power is more versatile, and if you consider their very highest potential, Bucky can just pop off way more than a Moon Knight, being able to chain kills up to infinity basically. On top of that, it's way easier to hit consistently in my opinion than Moon Knight's ult, but I still believe they're very close in strength, and both have the potential to pump your veins full with fear. Number 5. Magneto. Now, Magneto might be a bit unexpected for you to see him above the likes of Bucky and Moon Knight, since he's not really able to pop off and go on massive kill streaks like them, but his real strength lies in him being such a counter pick to basically every defensive ult in the game. Being able to pretty consistently get a guaranteed kill through support ults and therefore counter them effectively is just too strong to go unnoticed in a top 10 ranking. Number 4. Star-Lord. Another one of those where you just need to hear the voice line and you know what's up. In my opinion, this is the one that's worst. Especially as a magic main, there's really nothing you can do other than run and pray your hit scan or like ranged teammates can take care of him. And even that can be tricky with him having such high mobility. So yeah, aimbot paired with his high damage and mobility I think are what justify him at number 4. Number 3. Invisible Woman. Being able to create a huge area in which allies are consistently healed, invisible, and enemies are slowed down are what makes this ult so powerful and a staple of current competitive meta, and definitely justifies its placement among other top tier defensive ults. Number 2. Mantis and Luna. Just like last time around, I'll pair these two on the same placement. I know Luna's ult is technically stronger with its longer duration, but they're so similar in my opinion, basically doing the same thing, that I thought for the sake of having more slots in this top 10, I'll just combine them into one, you know? I mean, there's not really much to say about this ult. It has been a staple of top tier plays ever since release. Continuous healing that basically negates any outcoming damage from the enemy team, except for very few exceptions. I mean, where else did you expect this ult to land? Number 1. Loki and Cloak and Dagger. Loki is here because he technically doesn't have an ult except for copying others, which after reading my last rankings comments, I agree does place him on number 1 alongside Cloak and Dagger. In my opinion, Cloak and Dagger's ult takes all the benefits of an offensive ult, like making space for your team and forcing enemies out of certain areas, and adds those benefits to a strong defensive ult. Its only real weakness is its short duration compared to other defensive ults, but even that period of time is still more enough to shift the momentum of a fight in your favor. Nowadays, this ult basically requires a counter pick, otherwise you're screwed. I mean, there's a reason why I think that Cloak and Dagger are among the most banned heroes in the game, and that's definitely not in small part due to this ultimate. Let me know what you think of this ranking. Did I forget anyone? Where do you disagree? And definitely let me know what's your personal ranking.